Welcome back, Sister on Citi TV and Citi FM. So we're also live across Sub-Saharan Africa. DSTV channel 363 is how you will reach us. And you can also find us on GoTV channel 182. Okay, so now that you know how you can reach us, you can also interact with us on the show. Our WhatsApp number is 054-998-6996. You can send an email to Jessica at citifmonline.com or find us on Facebook at Sister Live. That's Sister Live. Okay, like our page. Join our growing community. All right, so it's that time of the day to, just introduce the sisters. In studio, I've got Ceci, I've got Olivia. Ladies, so good to see you.
Same
Olivia,
here.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
It's October, so I'm in all pink.
Very
breast
important.
cancer awareness.
I see the whole ribbon thing going on.
Nice.
Until you mentioned it, I didn't actually notice, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So let's continue to, raise awareness. The earlier you find it, the better, and then, you can save yourself a whole lot of trauma. People actually die. And for men as well. Men actually experience breast cancer, even though we don't talk about it, but it's a big deal.
Cool.
So yeah.
Alrighty. And Ceci?
Yes,
How are
I'm
you?
drinking from a pink and white mug. Yes.
So yeah, in the spirits. In other words.
I am.
Great,
Let's get
great,
screened.
great.
Let's get screened. Very important. So yeah,
Completely
early
agree.
detection.
Yeah.
Saves lives.
Exactly.
Claudia, what are you doing in your corner in Berlin?
Well, I have no pick. I'm just enjoying the lukewarm cold weather. So, yeah.
Yeah, all good, all good. Well, it's good to see you again, and thanks for joining us.
Same here.
Alrighty. So we'll jump right into our first message for today. Is that okay?
Alrighty.
Super. Says, hello, sisters. I've been married for the past 5 years. After a year of marriage without any pregnancy, we decided to seek medical help, and we found out that he can't have children because of a condition he has, unless there will be a miracle. Now, after visiting several hospitals, they all recommended IVF with a donor, but hubby said he's not interested. I went on to ask him to consider adoption, and he also turned that down. Suddenly, he stopped making love to me, and whenever I make an attempt, he pushes me away. After some months, I invited our counselor, and he told the counselor that he doesn't believe in the medical reports. According to him, he impregnated his ex some time ago, but she lost the pregnancy after a fall. I also found out recently that he's cheating on me after I saw a message on his phone on his birthday. Now I'm confused. I don't know if I should leave this marriage or stay. I also wish to have children of my own, so please help. Alrighty, so who wants to go first? Claudia, should I come to you?
No.
I don't know why the ladies are always like, someone needs to jumpstart this, and then everyone, okay, so Olivia, if Claudia... No?
Okay. Oh gosh.
It's a touchy subject.
It is. It's very touchy.
It is a touchy subject, and I don't even know where to start from.
Yeah.
The reason being that technically we would have advised her to do all the things she stated there. Get a counselor, speak to your husband, communicate with him, and she's said all of those things, get a donor to have an IVF done and all of that, but he's just not receptive to all these suggestions. Do you know what? The other thing is, I have no idea why people feel like once they're married and there's a problem, they look for solutions out of their marriage. Masa, your sperm count is low. Why are you going out of your marriage, shagging some other girl, thinking that you get her pregnant? For all you know, right, it could be, and I do stand to be corrected, this ex of yours could have cheated on you with somebody else, gotten pregnant, and probably committed an abortion and told you that she fell, therefore she lost the baby.
You never know.
You never know. And the thing is, okay, they've gone to one hospital. The question is, have they tried other options? Like, have they tried, when I say other options, have they tried to get, results from other hospitals besides just one hospital? And the question is, how do they relay the information to this man? Because obviously his ego is bruised. And there could also be a high possibility that the guy, now he knows that he has sperm issues, and he's probably just being all macho to come across like, Charlie, you are the problem, like, I don't want to accept it. But the thing is,
they actually went to several hospitals.
They went to several hospitals. Okay, yes, they did go to several hospitals. But the thing is, if as a man, you don't talk to your wife about it, how do you solve the problem? Sleeping with another woman to try and get her pregnant is not the answer. For all you know, you could be sleeping with this other woman, right? She'll get pregnant, but it's not your baby. Charlie, we've had time and time again of stories, of research, different places here in Ghana where people are fathering children that aren't their children. I mean, you could have decided to go get pregnant and give it to him, and it would have messed up the relationship, but no. Okay, enough blabbing about the situation. How do you move on? I know you've done it all, but I feel like you need to have a conversation with your husband one last time, so you know whether you're in or you're out. If I were you, I will sit my husband down and I will tell him, sir, this is our problem together. It's not just you. And to be honest, when it comes to low sperm count, it's irreversible. I think, like a lot of, not irreversible, but you can't treat it. Some research, at least I've done a little research, okay, that shows that depending on what you eat, sometimes medication, sometimes sit with the doctor, have a conversation with the doctor. Is it that he saw the results and bam, he's just closed in, he's not interested, he works perfectly as a man? Like, is he open to other suggestions about how he himself can solve the problem as an individual? Okay, because I know there are certain foods that you can actually take. I know there's, I think there's Indian ginseng that really does help in terms of increasing one's sperm count. There's also, there's this fenugreek as well that also helps, like when supplements, that also helps to increase sperm count. But the question is, what is low sperm count? Information is power. He needs to educate.
It is reversible.
Yes, it is reversible. You need to educate yourself about, okay, this is the problem. How do I go past it? You don't want your wife getting this IVF thing done. So as a man, what can you do? So seek professional advice, and then they'll tell you things to do. Like, for example, if your sperm count is down, there's no way you should be going out drinking, because drinking can affect your situation. You need to be exercising. You need to be eating right. You need to be avoiding certain foods, and you need to avoid getting all stressed out. So there are things that you can do step by step in order to ensure that you reverse this whole problem. The fact you can't just get up and say you're going to sleep with another woman and hopefully she'll get pregnant and hope the situation is going to change. So these are some of the suggestions I think that you can make to your husband. Okay, seek professional advice. Get him to sit down and tell him that, babe, listen, I don't want people hearing about our problem. Your problem is my problem. I love you. I want us to have children together. I don't want to let go of this marriage. Have that one last conversation with him and let him know that, Charlie, you're in this for life. Him going out is not going to solve the problem, and that it is reversible. So be all positive about it. Let him know that there's a solution to it and something can be done about it. If still he's adamant, he doesn't want to know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Jana Maninko, because Charlie, Obia warrior Sam. It's maybe you go and say, Olivia said that I should leave you. No, like, it's your decision to make. And I can understand where you're coming from. You also want to have a child of your own. So by all means, and you see, back to what you also said. You said apparently you've tried everything else and the doctors are saying that he would need a miracle. So I'm going to also handle it from, I like to balance things in my life. I believe that God is still in the miracle business, and God is amazing. He still gives people babies. I refer to the Bible constantly, from Sarah to Hannah, you name it. These are evidence of people's lives being transformed because of the power of God. So if it means that he can't have children, he needs to eat the things that he has to eat and back it by prayer and a lot of going down on your knees and praying together. I remember perfectly well when I had my first child. it wasn't a problem. And my husband is the only child. His mom is the only child. So having the second child was a challenge. So we had tried. And we're like, yo, like, what's up? Because Isaac came, it was not a problem. We had tried. And we actually went to the doctor, to see our doctor, to say, hey, Masa, we've been trying to have a second child. We can't seem to understand what's happening. And the doctor is like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with Stefan. So just keep trying. It's going to come. We tried. It still wasn't coming. There was this night. And I go back to faith as a Christian. There was this night, I know it sounds weird, but I'll say it time and time again, and I hope that it's a blessing to somebody out there. There was this night just before the act, right? My husband just held my hands. We went on our knees and we prayed. And we had a name for our child, and we knew the sex of the child that we wanted.
Wow.
We knew that we wanted him to be Zephaniah. We knew we wanted it to be a boy. So we went on our knees and we prayed to God that night. I got pregnant.
Interesting.
Just like that. So it's also about faith, you know, so as a Christian. And I don't believe in, sweethearts, don't go from church to church to church and let some crazy man who pretends to be a man of God, who is not a man of God, tell you that come and let him sleep with you and you take money from you. No. It's about your walk with God as a child of God. And trust me, Jesus still does miracles. So pray on it, do what you need to do physically, and try as much as possible to get your husband's ear. And trust me, there's this other scripture that also talks about the heart of God is in the hands of man. So right now, your husband is like adamant, he's all closed up, but Charlie, when you go on your knees and you know the God you serve and you pray and you read scripture and you fast, Charlie, God moves mountains. He will just turn his mind around, and you need to have faith. Sometimes people pray amiss and they don't pray having faith and believing that the God they serve will actually answer their prayers, but God does that. So have that walk with God. Go on your knees, pray, and cook these foods. Like, find out for yourself. If you need to introduce these things to your husband's diet without him knowing, sweetheart, do. Pray on it time and time again. You never know. God answers prayers. No, I know God answers prayers. Not you never know. I know. Try that. Hopefully it works for you.
Cool beans. Alrighty.
Hallelujah.
Well, what do you think? Because, I mean, for me, I understand the situation they're in, but what I also, and this, I hear this a lot, like people not being able to have kids, but still not thinking adoption is an option.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, what do you think about that?
Okay, so IVF. You see, the normal thing or the norm is when you get married, the only person you want to have kids with is your spouse. Now, when you're confronted with infertility issues, now there's a setback. For women, although I think that the issue of infertility is not gender-based, or it is balance between the two. I mean, there's a balance between the two, and it hits everybody different. For women, I think women are more open to the discussion. Women are more open to talk to people, find solutions. But men, on the other hand, once they are hit with that diagnosis, there's a drawback. Their ego, So it's like the very essence of their manhood is being questioned. Like the ability to father a child. Charlie, you are not able to father a child. Like, come on, what am I doing in this marriage? Especially if the main aim of this union was to have kids. Now, it is not something that is easily acceptable, be it adoption or IVF. So long as the child is not a child that is going to carry your genes, it becomes a problem. So for women, you can have emotions, disappointment. Sometimes you even resent your husband for it, especially if he's the one who has the issue. You start to resent him. For men, disappointment and guilt and the inability to give your wife a child. So everybody handles it differently. Now, to the issue of him rejecting this IVF, like I already said, this child will not carry your genes, so you have an issue with it. For the woman, she'll be a bit more open to it because at least her egg is going into that contribution, so the child is going to carry a part of her. But now that another man's sperm is coming into the picture, there's a problem because that idea of, or that knowledge of the fact that this child didn't come from you will always be lauded. Will be lauded over his head, if consciously or unconsciously. Okay, so like Olivia said, the food, it's treatable. Okay, though the doctor said, okay, there is the guy will need a miracle. Yeah, there are times when diagnoses have been proven wrong. Yes, so the food aspect, and then also, well, the prayer, Olivia has overemphasized. So whatever it is that you believe in, okay, or whoever it is that you believe in, I won't assume that she believes in, so but then she does believe in something. So whatever it is that she believes in, she should seek the face of God or whoever it is that you believe in. But more importantly, when things like this happen, there's a possibility that the conversation between the couple will be broken because the man is withdrawn, the woman wants to talk in most cases, like from everything that I have read around these things. Because the man's ego is bruised, so he does not want to talk about it. So I'm sure that the reason why he has stopped sleeping with her is because I am sleeping with you, but I'm not producing results. So why am I even sleeping with you? Okay, I'm not condoning the fact that he's cheating on her. Maybe he's too shy or too embarrassed to take the bull by the horns.
Or maybe he wants to verify. That's what I'm probably thinking. You know, like if he impregnates another woman, then you see it's not me, it's not me.
But
kind
this
of thing.
X2A, I'm thinking that it's either the child was not his. I'm sorry.
You never know.
But yeah, it's either the child was not his, or
It could even be a lie.
Yeah, or she wasn't pregnant at all. Okay. So I mean, the ex, water under the bridge. That is not the issue right now. It was once water under the bridge. So right now you are confronted with this issue that you don't have kids in your marriage. So I think she needs to be able to draw him out, because right now he's in his shell, and you need to draw him out because of this ego issue. So you need to draw him out. If the counselor thing is not working, try another route. If this IVF thing is to work, you need to get a professional to try and unmask or explain what this process really is, the implications and everything. Get him to open up to the idea if it comes down to it. But by all means, try every what's the word I'm looking for? Every option available to you. Then if it comes down to the IVF, you need to do a lot of work, because he's going to be looking at this child. If care is not taken, he's going to be looking at this child as, this child is not mine, this child is not mine, he didn't come from me, he didn't come from me. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done for him to open up to the idea.
Why?
But I think that between adoption and IVF, I think I'll pick IVF over adoption, because at least half of you is in there. Yes. My 2 cents.
Yeah. Cool. Claudia, let me hear you. Where are your thoughts right now?
For this issue, I don't have a solution or a recommendation, but I'm just going to talk about hints. And so the first one is, can two work together except they agree? You are in a relationship with a man who has decided to find a solution to a problem that both of you are supposed to be solving.
Outside of the marriage. Sure.
And this comes back to the procreational culture that we have in our society, where we are socialized and conditioned to accept that fertility is something that we all have. By default, we assume that all individuals are fertile, but medically this is so wrong. And even when we bring in the gender dynamics, it's even linked to social esteem, where we've sort of like rooted masculinity in fatherhood. So we even go to the extent of saying an impotent man is not a man. That's how toxic the culture is. And I'm very sure that is where this man's behavior is firmly rooted. What he is doing is so common. And that's why I said it's a touchy issue, because amongst my friends, as young as they are, as educated as they are facing these problems. Some of them to the extent that when they are seeking help for fertility or when they are trying to have kids, you don't even talk about it. One of them went to a clinic, saw a colleague of ours, and the girl was literally hiding. She didn't want others to know that she was trying through other means to have a child. So it's a big problem that we have to talk about. And I think this is a very, very good opportunity for us to discuss these broader issues, which puts pressure on people. But in all this, when trying to solve the problem, when it's women, we always count on the men to support the women, to be there for them, as if it's her problem and she's the one and she's the only one supposed to have a child. So it's kind of interesting now that it's the man who is now the focus of the discussion, and society will now be saying, support your husband in whatever he wants to do because he's too in the game. But unfortunately for her, this man has decided to find what in our circles we call an Ishmael. So Abraham, Isaac, and then Ishmael, where he decided to look outside for a child. Where I'm privy to a case where even the pastor was advising the man that stick to your wife, we don't want you to bring in an Ishmael. And that's precisely what he's doing. He's decided that he doesn't believe in medicine, and his lack of belief in medicine is more of a masculinity issue. He believes that he's done it before. And it's very possible, okay, that even the ex, he was the one responsible, because fertility changes, it can change in your life course. So maybe at that point in time in his life, he was fertile, and then maybe due to a lifestyle or disease or whatever, he's no longer fertile. It's very normal. And he's stuck in that mindset that because I did it with one woman, I can do it again. And now he's cheating. So then I want you to ask yourself, can two work together except they agree? This is not a man who is willing to work on the problem with you. You want to have kids. Does he want to have kids with you? Mm-hmm. That's the question you have to ask yourself. You are saying you want to have kids, but he's out there trying with others. So is this someone is it that he wants to try? If he succeeds, he brings the child home and then both of you raise together? Or if he succeeds, he wins his ego back and then the two of you go back to trying again? And what are the chances that you're going to get pregnant? So, I mean, I won't tell you to leave him. I won't tell you to stay. But I would want you to ask yourself, how long can you sustain this? And you mentioned that you brought in your counselor, and he told your counselor that he doesn't believe in medicine. I can't even say that it's because he's religious, because he's out there cheating. Mm-hmm. So the next thing I was going to say was that, okay, bring in a couple who are religious, who have done the donor IVF as a testament that, okay, this is normal, this happens. You can believe in God. You can pray all the prayers. You can fast for 40 days, 40 nights. It might not work. We went for donor IVF and it worked. So this is a testament. This is an example. That was a solution that was floating through my head, that for a very religious person, that's what I would advise the wife to do. Look in your circles, look in your church, a couple who has done it, who are very religious as you, like an example of your marital situation, who decided to try the medical way and then it worked. But can two work together except they agree? Mm-hmm. He's doing his own thing, so maybe you should also think about yourself for now. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I kind of understand and agree with you, Claudia. I mean, if he's not and the problem is he's not willing to accept that he even has a problem.
Precisely.
So, you know, you can't solve it unless you acknowledge that the problem is there.
Yeah.
So it makes it really dicey, really complicated. We can't tell you to leave your marriage, but there are definitely questions we put out there that you need to think through properly. You know, is it something you're willing to live with? And now he's introducing other people into your relationship. What does that mean for you? You know, there's certain things that you will compromise on, others that you won't. So decide for yourself. You know, I think the answer is there. You know, just decide what would work for you. And we do wish you the best of luck. Okay. Couple of messages. AJ says, Madam, please, you can leave if you want to have babies of your own. Most men who are sterile are difficult to deal with and they don't compromise. Let him continue to cheat. Fabian says, my dear sister, you must be depressed by now. I wish your husband will reason with you. Please give him some time to think things through. You must also pray for him because prayer answereth all things. Agnes says, did I hear he's cheating? He's refused to even work with you regarding his medical condition. I would have assumed he'll be cooperative in such circumstances. You need to explore this matter more as you want children, and he probably doesn't. Did you discuss all these things prior to getting married? Ifya says, see this man, oh, he's playing victim when you are the victim. Ohima, walk out with your chest up. Why? Or is that? Kofi says, where are you going? We, the fresh unmarried guys, don't want divorcees, so stay there. We were there and you chose him.
Oh,
Look at that.
Completely
that's
insensitive.
Very.
Completely insensitive. Peter says, big red flag. If the problem is really from him, as said, he should be the one to be worried about you cheating or leaving. Once a cheat, always a cheat. Leave him before it gets worse. And finally, Marion says, leave before you turn old. Trust me, if the story were the other way around, he won't think twice. My boss had a similar story and he cheated and got the lady pregnant, only to realize later that the child wasn't actually his. He's starving you too. Who knows if the ex was really pregnant? For all you know, he even knew that he couldn't father children. but
exactly
still
what
married
I was
you.
saying. And the fact that he's having unprotected sex out of his marriage is very worrying
putting
because he
her
can
at
even bring
risk.
her some kind of,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
sickness. It's
Yeah.
dicey.
Lady, just think through this thing well. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, more of your messages. Don't go anywhere.